boy, do I have a video that is jam-packed for you today. Oh my goodness. So JD Vance, they have no weapons. This guy is invincible. He has, since the vice presidential debate back in 2024 and every other instance henceforth, this guy has proved that he has the mettle, the composure, the constitution, the capacity to overcome any kind of BS that they throw at this guy. I mean, this has secured him, unless the Democrats cheat harder than they did in 2020, which I wouldn't put it past them because they're demonic. He's going to cement the 48th presidency of the United States of America. And that is good for you, me, our kids, our grandkids, his grandkids, and beyond. There has been this viral story that has erupted that was published by Vanity Fair, where they interviewed Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and claimed that Susie just went off on Trump, on J.D. Vance, on Stephen Miller, and a lot of the America First cabinet. I'm going to share with you what they said, and then I'm going to share with you what J.D. Vance said in response. Without even having any knowledge of the article, he just obliterates the fake news in JD fashion like he himself can alone. So this is going to be huge. I can't wait to share that with you. Also, we have a bombshell memo that just dropped that proves that the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago a few years ago had zero probable cause. Wait till you see what I uncover and unfurl here and what the ramifications could potentially be, as well as more bad news for Tampon Tim, the epitome of mediocrity, Walls, who just got an official notice from Trump and the White House, and it ain't good. And I can't wait to read it to you because it's beautiful. Oh, I love it. And then last but not least, I need your help. You have a way of helping America with your contribution. And what I'm going to share with you, a vile video of a woman harassing an innocent elderly woman for wearing a Charlie Kirk t-shirt. We just found out where this person works. And guess what? She happens to be a nurse. I'm going to play for you the video. It's absolutely vile, but I have to play it for you. I'm going to tell you where she works. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can help. So stick around to the end. But first, Vanity Fair published this story today, and the leftists are going nuts. All of these, because they got nothing. They're just reposting it everywhere. See, I told you he's crazy. See, I told you. So they posted this article today saying that they interviewed the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, and Susie Wiles divulged some things about Trump and his cabinet that maybe were a little bit untoward or weren't the most flattering, let's just say. She said about Trump that Trump has an addictive alcoholic personality. She also said that J.D. Vance is a conspiracy theorist, and him glomming onto Trump wasn't exactly because of the fact that he didn't believe that Trump was crazy. It was just more political. Essentially, it goes on and on and on. But essentially, Vanity Fair is trying to divide this America First cabinet. Vanity Fair is trying to sow division, sow hate, and the leftist, hypocrite, demonic cult called the Democrat Party, which I'm convinced hates America, is just running away with it. Absolutely running away with it. I'm so glad you don't have my job, ladies and gentlemen, because the stuff that I'd seen, it would make your blood boil. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for anybody who has even near a high blood pressure, because it would literally put you over the tilt. And then they asked Trump, what did you think of the article? And Trump said, well, I think she's right. I do have a pretty possessive personality. I do have an addictive personality. Those of you who don't remember or don't know, his brother pretty much passed because of alcoholism. He was a brutal alcoholic. And Trump even said, yeah, I'm a very possessive type. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink alcohol, but if I did, I'm sure it would have consumed me. And he said, I don't care about the article. I think Susie's doing a fantastic job. Susie then posted this on X right after all the hullabaloo and said the article published early this morning is a disingenuously framed hit piece on me and the finest president, White House staff, and cabinet in history. Significant context was disregarded, and much of what I and others said about the team and the president was left out of the story. I assume after reading it that this was done to paint an overwhelmingly chaotic and negative narrative about the president and our team. The truth is, the Trump White House was already accomplished more in 11 months than any other president has accomplished in 8 years. And that is due to the unmatched leadership and vision of President Trump, for whom I have been honored to work for the better part of a decade. Trump has said many, many times that Susie Wiles is a very powerful woman, but one of the greatest people he's ever worked with and he's ever known. And this video today where J.D. Vance was caught blindsided when he was giving a talk on the economy and affordability and how the Democrats were ruining the country and trying to obstruct everything that this amazing America First administration is trying to do. Listen to how number 48, I'm calling it right now, handled this. Watch.
Vice President Jacob Bogage from the Washington Post, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same to you.
Unfortunately, I have to ask a bit of an off-topic question from affordability because news events do intervene, and that is the interviews that White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles gave to Vanity Fair, in which she's quoted as referring to you as, excuse me, and again, not my words, sir, but a conspiracy theorist of a decade, and described your transformation from someone who once opposed President Trump to now his vice president as an act of political expediency. And I'd like to give you the chance to respond to that, sir.
Well, first of all, if Susie, I'll trust what you said. I haven't looked at the article. I of course have heard about it, but conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true. Yeah. And by the way, Susie and I have joked in private and in public about that for a long time. For example, I believed in the crazy conspiracy theory back in 2020 that it was stupid to mask 3-year-olds at the height of the COVID pandemic, that we should actually let them develop some language skills. You know, I believed in this crazy conspiracy theory that the media and the government were covering up the fact that Joe Biden was clearly unable to do the job. And I believed in the conspiracy theory that Joe Biden was trying to throw his political opponents in jail rather than win an argument against his political opponents. So, at least on some of these conspiracy theories, it turns out that a conspiracy theory is just something that was true 6 months before the media admitted it. And that's my understanding. Now, look, I do want to say something about Susie, though, because, again, having not read this article, Susie is a person I've come to know very, very well. And, you know, a lot of you probably ask yourself, what is it like behind the scenes? What's going on actually behind the scenes of the Trump administration? And I'll tell you, the president is exactly in private who he is in public. Like, I'll tell you a little story. Maybe a week or so ago, I walk into the Oval Office and Marco and I are sitting there talking with the president about something. He says, stop. And he looks at our shoes and says, you guys have terrible shoes. So he goes and gets a shoe catalog. Now remember, this is the Christmas season, so the president's got some holiday cheer. He goes and gets a shoe catalog and gets his favorite shoes and orders like 4 pairs of shoes for me and 4 pairs of shoes for Marco, because he's like, you know, we need our vice president or secretary of state to look their very best. And, you know, then we went back to talking about whatever major, you know, international issue we were talking about. Again, he is exactly in private who he is in public. That's not true of most people in Washington, D.C. It's not. And I've seen so many people who will say one thing to the president's face, Democrats and Republicans, and then will do the exact opposite behind the scenes. You know why I really, you know what they are, and you know why I really love Susie Wiles? Because Susie is who she is in the president's presence. She's the same exact person when the president isn't around. I've never seen Susie Wiles say something to the president and then go and counteract him or subvert his will behind the scenes. And that's what you wanted a staffer. Because as much as I love Susie, the American people didn't elect any staffer. They elected the president of the United States. And what you want, in a staffer is a person who understands they are there to effectuate the will of the American people and they're there to follow the orders of the duly elected Commander-in-Chief of the United States. And Susie Wiles, we have our disagreements. We agree on much more than we disagree, but I've never seen her be disloyal to the President of the United States, and that makes her the best White House Chief of Staff that I think the President could ask for.
I just love, articulate, intelligent, composed, anchored in reality, practical, common sense, speaks his mind, speaks his heart, authentic, real, like Trump. If you're like me and you want this man to be 48, put a 48 in the comments right now, please, for the love of God. Everybody, by the way, they all watch this show. JD Vance's staff, they watch this show. Let him know. We love you, JD. Keep up the excellent work. The guy hasn't even read the article. He probably wasn't briefed on even Susie Wiles' post saying this was a hit piece. And he comes out like that with pure class. You gotta love JD Vance. And speaking of Vanity Fair, this is the post that they posted today on Caroline Leavitt. They posted a massive close-up of her face on Instagram, which is an obvious way of exposing. It's obviously not showing her in a good light. They're trying to show all her wrinkles and stuff. The woman is absolutely beautiful, doing an amazing job. Why did they post a picture of Caroline Leavitt in the most uninviting, unattractive, unbecoming fashion? But when they did a piece on probably what I would call the worst, most duplicitous press secretary of all time, Karine Jean-Pierre, they did this, about as good as you possibly can. And not only that, but this is how they presented Joe Biden. This was back in 2021. They're making him look like he's John Kennedy, for crying out loud, and he was a vegetable back then. Happy birthday, President Joe Biden. We love you. Photographed by, of course, Annie Leibovitz. So it just goes to show that Vanity Fair, all you leftists, it's the same thing with what you did with Epstein. Everything you do is to obstruct. They don't have one single policy, strategy, solution, and it is abundantly clear that you guys are the epitome of mediocrity, the epitome of fake news, just another DNC shill. It's obvious to me that you hate America. Okay, next up, this is a huge bombshell. The Department of Education just sent an official notice, at the behest of the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, that they are going to be relinquishing all funding due to the fact that you can see by this letter by McMahon. At the beginning of this year, the U.S. Department of Education became aware that fraudulent college applicants, especially concentrated in Minnesota, were gaming the federal post-secondary education system to collect money. More fraud from Tampon Tim Walz. What a big shock. Is anybody surprised? Well, here's the real bombshell of this letter. At the very end, Linda McMahon says this: shame on you, Governor Walz, for allowing this to happen and for benefiting from it. Stop defrauding American taxpayers. No politician is above the law. And then at the bottom, she says, given your dereliction of office entrusted to you by Minnesotans, I implore you to resign and make way for more capable leadership. My fellow Americans, I'm not sure if you understand the severity. That is an official notice from the Department of Education. As I said before, that goes all the way up because it is official federal notice from the President's office of the United States, President Donald J. Trump, asking and imploring, not asking, not even requesting, imploring that Tampon Tim resign effective immediately. This is a historic precedent. The fraud is so bad because in every blue run state and city, the fraud is exorbitant. And here's my question to you, Nez Nation. If they find this much corruption and fraud and money laundering, billions and billions of dollars related to SNAP benefits, illegal healthcare, illegal college applications and funding, et cetera, you mean to tell me that there's zero fraud in elections committed by the liberals and the leftists? Do I look like a bucket of manure? Don't answer that. Hey, Tony, forget about it. Of course there is. And 2020 proves it. And here's another huge bombshell, because your boy Nez has bombshell after bombshell. It's the only place you need to be. Where are you going, for crying out loud, to get your news? If this is the only place for you to be, give me a huge yeah in the comments down below. Check this out. Senator Chuck Grassley said he just received shocking new documents from the DOJ and FBI showing that the FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. But the Biden DOJ pushed for it anyway. Based on the records, Mar-a-Lago raid was a miscarriage of justice. Holy macadamia nut. Maybe that explains why Jack Smith completely dismissed the case as soon as Trump became president. Remember what I said last year? Cash Money G, Jack Smith, Letitia James, Alvin Do Nothing Bragg, Judge Gargamel, Judge Fake Don Juan Merchan. Remember what I said? They're all going to drop like dominoes because there was no validity. That just proves there was no validity to them. Their only purpose was to stop Trump. This is criminal on a galactic level. This is so vile and full of sewage fecal matter that they pollute Americans' brains. The deceit and rot gut of this cabal is, I've never seen, you have to sit back in awe how absolutely stank it. Everybody give me a stank in the comments down below. It is so bad. So this is what could potentially happen. The apparent disregard, I did some research on this. This violates Fourth Amendment protections against unreasonable searches because we have a constitution, even though the Democrats don't think so, which erodes trust in federal law enforcement, congressional investigations, disciplinary actions, prosecutions against involved officials like Jay Bratt and George Toscas, reforms to DOJ, FBI, civil lawsuits by Trump for damages, and broader accountability measures could be implicated immediately. I think you put all of these people in front of, they should be charged criminally, but we know the likelihood of that happening probably won't happen, but you put them in front of cameras. Expose the lies, the deceit. That's what this channel is all about, making common sense go viral. By the way, tap the thumbs up, subscribe. It's easy. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. That's what this channel is all about. We have to educate our fellow Americans because they have a multi-billion dollar corporate woke media apparatus that is doing the exact opposite. It's propagating all the lies. We need to put them in front of cameras, put them in front of the world, expose them for lies, watch them sweat, watch them fumble, shuffle, fidget, try to bend behind the truth and find some kind of answer, which is all BS. Prove them, expose them. That's the number one thing we can do. And speaking of exposure, I got to give you full warning because the video you're about to see is one of the most abhorrent videos I've ever seen. This poor elderly woman who is working at Target wearing a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt, simply doing her job, was accosted and harassed by Michaela Ponce, who works, I know exactly where she works, and we need to put a stop to this. I bleeped out some of the language here for you, but I just have to give you warning before I share this video. It is vile. It is expletive. Viewer discretion is advised if you have young ones or little ones around. I did bleep everything out, but it's going to make you sick to your stomach. I found out where this person works, and she's actually a nurse. There's a number at the bottom of the video. I want everybody to call it, but first, check out this video. By the way, she privatized all her social profiles. She took them all offline because, like all leftist cowards, she has no backbone. So she can talk a big game until she gets shit. Boy, if I was there, Michaela, if you're watching this, shame on you. Shame on your family. Shame on everything. And I hope you never, ever, ever get another job, especially in healthcare again. Watch.
Why?
They let you wear that shirt here?
Yes. Why?
So,
Why are you taking my picture?
why are you wearing that shirt? You're working. It's not
It's
a
a
Target
red
shirt.
shirt. I can wear any red shirt.
It's not a plain shirt.
It doesn't have to be
It's a Charlie Kirk shirt.
Yes. Yes, I know.
Are you stupid?
No.
Why the would you wear that? You're at work at Target. That's not a Target shirt. It's not a plain red shirt. You support a racist.
It's not racist.
You support a racist.
He's not a racist.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry, but I'm not going to stand here and argue with you.
You're not. You should go
over
get
it.
your manager. You should not be allowed to wear that at work. Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
That's your opinion.
No, the opinion is he's a racist and you support him.
That's your opinion, ma'am. Have
And you
a nice
shouldn't.
day.
You should not be allowed to wear that. This is going to be taken above your head. That's insane.
Have a
Insane.
nice day.
Insane. Piece of
I gotta say that whoever that elderly woman is, I want to give you something. I want to praise you for your class, your decency, your dignity. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. So this Michaela Ponce works at Enlo Medical Services in Chino, California. And the number is down there below. I've called many, many times. I implore everybody watching to call and say, how dare you employ this individual? You mean to tell me she's a nurse? Can you imagine if somebody, went in the emergency room wearing a Charlie Kirk shirt or had needed emergency services? And this person was your nurse? What do you think would happen? You think she'd help you? Probably not. This is disgusting. This is vile. I'm sick and tired of this. And Michaela, you're so lucky I wasn't there. As a matter of fact, I think everybody's lucky I was there because I don't even have a fifth of a tenth of a fraction of the class and decency. This poor elderly woman just doing her job. And you take it upon yourself to lambaste her. 1,000 shames on your brow. You need to go and cleanse yourself before it's too late because your soul is in disrepair. That's the number down below. Everybody call her. Enlo Medical Center in Chino, California. You could even look it up and go to their website, but that is the number. As always, please tap the thumbs up. Share this with everybody you know. We have a mission here to make common sense go viral. Obviously, after you see that video, we have a lot of work to do. So I implore you to help us out. It takes you less than a nanosecond, even if you're watching on your TV. Just tap that thumbs up. Don't forget to check out these videos right here coming up on your screen, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.